are tuned in to your dose of positivity. And to gain further support, join my channel membership. I am Marlene Motivates, and as I always say, just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Hey everybody, it's Marlene of Marlene Motivates, and welcome to your dose of positivity. I am your channel for all things positive, motivational, mindset shifting, and all of those things. If you're new to this channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you over here as a part of the Motivators family. And to everybody who is live with me now, I would appreciate it if you hit the like and welcome. I hope you all are doing amazing. Let me see who is in the chat. First in, we have Colton James. How are you doing, Colton? Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And happy Thursday to everybody. And next in, we have Miss Puzzle Pieces. How are you doing, Puzzle Pieces? Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Got a member in the house. So, welcome everybody. And today we're going to get into talking about something that is a very important topic. I may have covered it before, I'm not sure, but I think this is an important topic to talk about, especially in the dating aspect, but also those who are married as well. You know, it's very important to talk about signs of a possessive person, signs of dating a possessive person, because it's important to identify who you are with, and it's not just for one part of you, it's for all parts of you. It's for your mind, it's for your physical health, it's for your mental health, it's for your spiritual health, it's for your financial health, it's for your overall well-being, because who you choose to be in a relationship with affects every single part of your life. And when you are with somebody who is possessive, it affects everything. And unfortunately, some people, it gets way beyond a possessive. It gets to the DV situation or unaliving. And I hate to say it like that, but being with a possessive person is just the first part of things escalating. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And we definitely have to take it seriously, whether it is us, whether it's somebody in our family that we know and we love, whether it's a friend, whoever it is, nobody deserves to be with a possessive person. We all deserve to have an amazing life and to be free, to be able to do what it is that we want and to feel happy. But for some reason, there is some controlling things that happens within relationships, to make others feel that this is their only choice. And we're going to get into some of those reasons why. But I definitely have to start off by saying, a possessive person treats you like you are property, like you're owned, like they bought you. And that's not, and it should be a relationship, but you don't feel like you're in a relationship. You feel like property, that they own you, and they possess everything about you. You don't have your own thoughts and opinions. They're not valued. You're not valued. And that's a very major problem. It's a very major red flag. And the reason why I wanted to have this discussion today, because nobody should feel like they are owned by somebody. And there are some that do believe that in a relationship, that's mine. That's mine. I own them, and they have to do what I say. Very controlling, very possessive, and that's very dangerous. And to anybody who feels very uncomfortable in a relationship, very unsafe, just know that it's okay to talk to somebody. I'm going to put it in the comment section when this video is over, or in the description box. I take it very seriously, those who feel unsafe in their relationship, unsafe in their home. And there are hotlines, there are people that you can go to talk to, that you can reach out to support, because it's not as easy as some people think getting out of a possessive relationship, because when they possess you, they possess everything about you. And we're going to get into that some more. So let's see who is in the chat. Hey, OG Bran. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome in. Um, yeah, I definitely wanted to get into this and share it, because it's so important within dating that you identify things that are like red flags. Like, what is that? What is this? What are they talking about? I noticed that they do this, and the time to get out is now. And I know the reason why some people will stay in these relationships with a possessive person. Number one, they want to escape. They want to escape from their present circumstances, whether it be their home environment, or they are offered certain things, like they're being treated a certain way, or it's the way that the person talks to them. So they just very smooth, very suave. They show them care or concern, or we think. They put all of these things in front of us, and that's one tactic, that is love bombing. They will say all the right words, everything that we want to hear, and we fall right into that trap, to be in that possessive relationship where it's more than just the words. How do they treat you? Okay. So let's get into point number one, everybody. Signs you're dating or married to a possessive person, okay? Number one, they want all your time, every single moment of the day. They only want to talk to you. They only want to they want it every minute of the day. They want to be with you on the phone. They want to be texting you. They want to be emailing you. That everything is about them. They want all of your time. They don't want you to give any time to a job. They don't want you to give any time to anybody else that is not them. And that is a definite red flag. If somebody cannot, if you can't even get anything accomplished, you can't get anything done, because they're constantly, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? That's something that you need to, like, why are you calling me so often? I have things that I need to do. And let me say it like this. One of the things that they will say is, I'm just concerned about you. I just want to know what you're doing, when really it's just a tactic to know not only what you're doing, who is there, what are you talking about, so that they can control the situation. Um, One of the biggest things that a person who is possessive will do is they try to get inside of your mind. So they want to affect your mental health so that you can only depend on them for everything. That they don't want you to have your own thoughts. They want to take away all of you making your own decisions. They want to be the person to make all the decisions in your life, and that is not good. You know, it's wonderful to have somebody to check in on you, to ask you how you're doing, to, want to know certain things about you. But when it's all the time, you know, I don't know what is the appropriate number of texts that you should get per day, but my personal opinion, if you're in a serious relationship, it shouldn't be more than three texts in a day. To me, it's borderline. That's kind of weird. It should be like the beginning of the day, the end of the day, the middle of the day. Okay, but that's just me. That's my personal opinion. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. But I personally think more than three texts a day is kind of creepy. I think it's kind of creepy when they want to know so much. So let's get into point number two: signs you're dating or married to a possessive person. So, just like I said, they want to take all of your time, but in that, they want to make all your decisions. Um, the thing about being in a relationship with somebody who is toxic, controlling, manipulative, a narcissist, all types of people, it happens because they have some issues. They want to control. You are their possession. They want all of your time. They want everything from you. So they want to control every single decision. So before you make a decision, they want you to check in with them with everything. How much do you spend? How much is it going to cost? How long are you going to be away? Who is going to be there? Why do you have to go? This is, they ask you a million questions. So they want to make all your decisions. They will get angry if you don't check in with them with something. They will turn something that has nothing to do with you, and they will turn it into like a blame thing because of their jealousy issues, because of their insecurities, because they want to control you and all of the decisions you make, and they want to control all of your time and the people who are around you. And that's a recipe for disaster. One text and one phone call a day is good enough for me. Okay, okay, okay. I get it, puzzle pieces. See? And for puzzle pieces, it's one text, one phone call is good enough. But for me, I think three is sufficient. It depends on the level of the relationship. I'm not talking about a brand new relationship with somebody that you just met. I mean somebody that you've known for an extended period of time, and you're pretty serious about them. The beginning of your day, the end of your day, and maybe, around your lunchtime. That's what I would say. Hayward, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your support. We got a member in the house. Thank you so much. If you guys could hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, and that's a really a controlling thing. Somebody wanting to make all your decisions. To me, that just doesn't sound like something right. They want to know every single thing down to the very tiniest detail. What did you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Who is there if you go out to eat? Who is there with you, and why did you go there? Control every single thing, and we're going to get into it in more detail about decisions that you make. And one of the decisions that they want to be involved in when you are with a possessive person is they want to know every decision when it comes to money. I'm not saying at all times, but a lot of times a possessive person does not have their money situation together. I could even say that sometimes in possessive relationships, the possessive person is a bum. You know, they're lazy. They don't, maybe if they work, but they don't make enough income to provide. So they want to control your money. So probably that they can get their hands into it and be able to get the things that they personally want from you. So that's another red flag. If somebody wants to know something about your bank account, how much do you make? When do you get paid? You know, where do you bank at? There's certain things that you should just not do in a dating phase. You know, people shouldn't know. You shouldn't tell anybody you're dating how much you are making and where do you bank at, how much you make, all of those things, your job, you know, what do you do, and all of those things. There's certain things that you need to keep that under wraps until it gets to a very serious point. And I feel that people divulge too much information too soon in the dating phase, and then they're sorry about it later. So we do have to learn to zip it sometimes, you know, when we're going to make decisions, especially in the beginning of a relationship. There's certain things that they should not know. You need to keep some things to yourself. Even if they ask you, you don't have to reveal every single thing to them. Hey, Miss Tracy, how are you doing? Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you are well, and happy Thursday to everybody. Let's get into point number 3. So, signs that you're dating or married to a possessive person, they must know where you are at all times. And I have heard from a few reliable sources, they will have navigation on your phone, on your car, you know, every single place. They want to know, even if it's even if it's in a very, let me say, I'm trying to think of the nice words to say because I don't want YouTube to give me a limited sign on this live stream. But that basically is a controlling mechanism. They want to know where you are, where do you go, what are you, you know, what are you doing at all times, so that they can know who you're talking to, because that's a control mechanism as well. They definitely want to know where you are at all times, what you're eating, who you're eating with, who are your friends. All of those are red flags, red flags. It's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I'm going out to eat, but the person doesn't have to know where you're eating, who you're eating with, and what you ate. Mm, it's a little bit too much information that I think sometimes in the dating we start, it starts off something as being something innocent, or that's cute, or they're just concerned about me, they're just worried about me. No, they're controlling you. They're controlling you, motivators. They're controlling you, and we have to see it for what it is, and not just sometimes like pushing things under the rug and just saying, oh, they just care about me, or they're just concerned, like la di da. No, open up your eyes, motivators, and pay attention. It's a way to control you, to make sure that they can control who is around you, because they don't always want you to get, you know, a more enlightened thought process. They don't want you to be around other the opposite sex, because they could have some jealousy issues. They're dealing with inadequacies of their own that they need to work on themselves. So it's one of those things that we have to be careful and pay attention to these signs of a possessive person, because like I've said before on previous live streams and talking about dating, don't think because when you date them they're this way, oh that's nice and they're sweet and they just care about me, and then later on, the moment you're married to them, just like that, it starts to become more hands on, more toxic, more dangerous, more controlling. And we're going to get into some other things as well. But before I go on to point number 4, I have to say they have to know where you are at all times. Um, I don't know if I put this in here as, oh, it is. It's in here. So I'll get to that later. So let's see what is going on in the comment section. Yes, welcome, Everybody, welcome everybody in. Hi, Rudy. How are you doing? Good to see you. Puzzle Pieces says they want you to send group photos of who you are with and where you are. And we think that, oh, that's something, oh, they're concerned about me. Oh, or they just want to get to know my friends. Unfortunately, there are some people, and mentally they're not all together. They're not all right. You know, they're not always right. They really aren't. Hi, Six Bows is back. How are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome in. Thank you so much for your support. Um, yeah, and that's the one thing that I feel that is so important to talk about. That somebody, when we feel sometimes, oh, they just care about me, and we feel that way because of how we feel about them. We feel that we are, I don't know. I feel a lot of times we can be very gullible, very gullible, and just because that's what we want to believe. We don't want to believe that somebody is possessive and controlling and manipulative and a user and all of those things. But when we see the signs, we have to pay attention and say, how come they always want to know every single place I am? Or why do they need to know this about me? Be careful about the personal information that you tell to everybody, okay? Be careful with that, everybody, please. I have a controlling person around, cut off 4 months ago. They dropped Christmas gift cards for the four grandkids and been bugging ever since. Yeah. And what I will say is that they always try to sneak in um, when they do something, and then they'll find a way to be right back in your life. Like, you'll be upset, and then they'll find a way to get into your heart or get into your head or try to blame somebody else or turn around the situation like, oh, it wasn't that way. Maybe that's just the way you're taking it. Be careful of those tactics, everybody. That is a manipulative tactic. They try first to get into your mind to get you to think a certain way, for you to not realize, hey, this is a this is a controlling person. Like, the bells and the whistles should be going off. You should be seeing these red flags. Please pay attention to this. And yeah. And Puzzle Pieces says, oh, Miss Tracy, be careful. And I'm glad he's not in your circle anymore. Yes, Miss Tracy, please be careful. Because I hate to say it, but we have known many people over the years, I'm sure many of you as well, that have been in these toxic relationships, and it has ended in tragedy. And I would never want any of you motivators, whether it be you, whether it's a relative, a friend, or whoever is in a relationship with a toxic person, and we just think, oh, that's not a big deal. It's not really my concern. It's not really my business, when it really is. Please be careful. And if you are the person that is in a toxic relationship, a possessive relationship, please get some help and get out of it. Hey, Marlon, how are you doing? Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, happy 2024 to everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. Okay, let's get into point number 4, everybody. Signs you're in and dating, signs you're dating or married to a possessive person. Point number 4, they ignore your boundaries. No matter how many times you tell them how you feel, and don't call me at this time, don't show up at this hour, don't text me at this time, don't do this and don't do that, they still do what they want to do, because ultimately a possessive person, a jealous person, a controlling person wants what they want. They don't care about what you want. And you have to have a strong personality, and you cannot be a person to be like, oh, just believing everything and taking things as face value because that's what they are saying to you. You have to believe what it is that they are doing, what sort of actions, you know, Follow the actions, everybody, the actions, and not just the words, because people can talk a good game. People are very good at opening up their mouth and saying, I'm this and I'm about that. And you will find out everything about this person is a lie. They'll say they have this job, they don't even have that job. They could say they have this education, they don't have that education. They could say they live, people will make up a whole storyline about their lives, and none of it is true. So please be careful to all you motivators who are, even those who are married. There could be a lot of times you could be in a relationship for a long time before you can actually, your eyes actually opened and you start seeing things. As I like to say, the mask falls off. It takes a long time sometimes to see that, but when we see it, don't beat up yourself and say, how come I didn't see it? And how come I didn't know? Or feel like it's something that has to do with you. Don't take it personal. The most important thing is, if somebody has been deceiving you, someone has betrayed you, your trust, your loyalty, all of those things, they don't deserve you, and you deserve to get away from them. Don't blame yourself. Just leave them alone. That's really important. See anybody I missed. Thank you all so much for being here. If you have not hit the like already, please hit the like. Let's get into, we're halfway there, everybody. Let's get into point number 5. So, signs that you're dating or married to a possessive person. They accuse you of betraying them. This is a big one. This is such a big one. And it's something that it irks me. It gets under my skin. It gets on my nerves. It frustrates me when somebody always is accusing you of being disloyal or doing something wrong or doing something behind their back. Most of the time, people who are like that are usually the ones that are doing exactly what they are accusing you of. So they may accuse you of cheating on them. They may accuse you of being, dating somebody else or liking somebody else or wanting to do something else without them or not liking them or whatever it is. But they always try to plant those seeds of doubt and betrayal and fear and worry inside of you. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing to have in a relationship. In your romantic relationship, if you're going to be with somebody long term, you should feel safe, secure, respected, not feel like everything that I do, I have to walk on eggshells with you, or I can't trust you, or you feel you can't trust me. Then that's not a good relationship to be in. Somebody always is telling you, oh, I don't know, you could be cheating on me, or you could be doing this, or you could be doing that, or I think you like that person, or the way you look, or because of whatever reason, they blame they blame other issues and situations or their own insecurities as a means of making you feel some type of way about yourself to keep you in the relationship with them. And that's very toxic, and nobody deserves to have that in a relationship, not a healthy one. At least I know a lot of people can be in a relationship, and I think everybody wants to be in a relationship, but if you are in a relationship with somebody and they are making you feel bad about yourself, they make you feel insecure, they make you feel fearful or any of those things, that's not a good thing. And like I said at the beginning, um, one of my first things is you feel that you are property. You feel you're property or you're owned by this person, and you're not in a relationship where your thoughts and your opinions are valued. You should be in a relationship with somebody that you should be able to have a dialogue, have a conversation back and forth. This is what I think. Oh, this is what you think. And be able to share thoughts and opinions, but not to be like, this is what I told you to do. This is where I told you to be. I told you I didn't want you to go there. Or it's time for you to get home. Get home now. When is thoughts and words like that, that is possessive, controlling, unhealthy, all of the above. and you need to find a way to get away from these type of individuals, because it doesn't get better, it gets worse, it starts escalating. And it could be a combination of a person having some mental illness. It could be, unresolved issues from that person's past. They have fears and worries and doubts. They don't know themselves yet, they don't love themselves, and they're giving off that energy to you because they don't know themselves, because they don't love themselves. They don't know how to give you love and trust that you deserve. So, a lot of times when people have unresolved issues, they bring that into the relationship. That's why it's so important before you start looking for a person to be with, you work on yourself. Self awareness, self love, self respect is so important, for you to feel good about yourself. Okay. Or or are too friendly, right? Yeah, they'll blame you because you're a nice person, or you greet other people, and they'll say that you're flirtatious when all you're saying is hello. So depends on the person. If somebody is accusing you of doing something like that and it makes you feel uncomfortable, let me say this to all you motivators: just because people are a perspective, it doesn't mean that you have to continue to be with them. It doesn't mean that it's a good and healthy relationship. A good and healthy relationship, you should feel positive, you should feel supported, you should feel loved, you should feel, you know, important to that person. But it shouldn't be that you feel fearful, you feel discouraged, you feel unhappy, you feel isolated. None of those things are a good thing. Hey, Miss V, how are you doing? Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. If you could hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let me get back to this point. Okay. Accuse you of betraying them. Oh, yeah. So now we're on point number 6. So, signs you're dating or married to a possessive person, everything is about them. They will make everything about them. So no matter what is going on with you, they don't want to have anything to deal with, whatever issue. You never get into doing things for yourself, your goals, your wants, your needs, because it's all about you helping them to succeed and get better. um, and that's not good. In a relationship, it should be on both sides. Both individuals in the relationship should be growing. They should be happy adults, working on themselves, working on their goals, manifesting, walking in their light, you know. And if you can't do that, if you are with somebody who is selfish, with somebody who is controlling, you will never be happy. You will never be happy with somebody who is selfish, because a selfish person can never make you happy, because everything turns out to be about them. Everything is about them. You never get any time for you, what you need, what you want. It's all about them. And that's a recipe for disaster. Yep. Miss Fee says, I cannot stand a jealous, clingy man, always complaining about everything. Yes, I agree with you, Miss Fee. And I put it on both sides. I don't like a jealous, clingy woman either. Just a complaining person in general. Um, a quote that I heard a long time ago was, if you cannot change your situation, then don't complain about it. If you're not willing to put in some work into changing something, then don't complain about it. People will complain about things all day. And here's another one: people will complain about the person that they are with, and they don't like them. They do all of these things, and they stay with them. So obviously, they actually like the person. Some people don't want to change. Some people will just accept, they just will take anything that is thrown at them, because they're not mentally strong enough to believe that they deserve better. And that's a thought. That's a focus that I had to learn. Some people are born with that. Some people, that's inside of them. It's downloaded inside of them very easily. And other people have to learn that. I had to learn that it was okay for me to have my own wants, my own needs, my own desires outside of the relationship. Um, One thing that I feel is very unhealthy for you to define yourself through a person, where when I believe that it should be that you both come together and you help each other to keep inching towards each of your personal goals. And it's not just about one person always winning, it should be about both of you getting to your goals. Yes. Yes, so true. Heck, it seemed everything was about me. Always worried about my every move. Yeah, and that's a controlling thing. They want to know every single detail, where you are. They want to know your location. If you go to a restaurant, on the job, they want to know everybody who works in the job. If you work in an office, they want to know who works in the office. Everybody you work with, they want to know who they are, what they look like. Just it's too much. It's too much when you're with somebody who doesn't know themselves, who feels inadequate, who has feelings of worthlessness, and they haven't worked on themselves. They want to control what you do, what you think, because they haven't worked on themselves. So it's a controlling thing, and that's not a good thing if you're with somebody who is like that. I'm for sure not dealing with that with a woman. Yes. I don't blame you, Miss V. Let's go into point number 7. Okay. Now this is a big one that I don't play any games with this, and I hope you guys don't as well. Some people think it's a funny thing. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna stalk them. I'm gonna, you know, show up everywhere they are, and people think it's cute. Oh, like, oh, I just bumped into you all the time. Everywhere you go, they're there. You're at work, they're waiting for you outside your job, and you didn't make arrangements to see them after work. It's creepy. It's creepy. It's strange. It's weird. And I believe that it escalates into more and becomes even more toxic, even more possessive, even more dangerous. And it's not funny. Some people think it's funny to want to be with somebody 24 hours of the day. That's not normal. It's not normal and it's not natural. Everybody needs to have their own space, their own time apart, their own lives, their own goals, and it's wonderful. Then come together and say, I'm working on this, I'm working on that. Oh, that's nice, honey. That's cool, babe. And then you go back and do your own thing separate. But some people, it's just, mm, I think it's smothering. That's my personal opinion. The smothering is a no-no for me. Maybe some people may not like it, but I need my own space. It's not going to work. You can't be all up in my space, all up. Mm-mm. In my bubble. I value my bubble. Mm-mm. I value my bubble. No, no, no. It's when a female friend turns crazy like that. Yes, it sure is. All that. Hell, I'm tired. And what I do with my time is my time, and not for you to decide what I should be doing and how I do it. Exactly, Miss Tracy. Exactly. That's how I feel too. One thing that I definitely don't like is when somebody tries to tell me what I should do with my time, my money, who I should be friends with, where I should be going, who am I talking to. I just feel like it is just too much. Tracy, my sentiments, exactly. My life, my time, my business. Yeah. But this is something really serious, everybody, that I definitely have to state this for all of you, that this is a serious thing. Stalking someone is a crime. It is not funny. If somebody doesn't want to be around you, leave them alone. Constantly calling people, showing up there at their job, emailing them, leave them alone. If somebody doesn't want to talk to you, if somebody has blocked you, somebody doesn't email you back, leave them alone. That means they don't want to be bothered with you. Leave them alone and move on. Go and find somebody else who's interested in you. I don't know what's wrong. Why people like don't know how to let go or whatever. Move on with your life. Find you somebody else. I don't like it. But you must speak up for yourself, and you have to be firm. You can't be like, talk to somebody and then, oh, I don't want to talk to you, because you confuse them and yourself. You have to know what you want. And I feel that that's a big issue a lot of times in dating. People don't know what they want and they don't know who they are. Okay. This is another issue. Signs that you're in a possessive relationship. They always want to know, what are you wearing? And they want to see what you look like and who are you going to be around and what is their name and how long have you known them. It's just too much. Oh, I don't want you wearing that. You need to change your clothes. Controlling, controlling, controlling. If somebody doesn't like how a person looks, this is something that confuses me too. When they met you, this is how you were, and it's like they're trying to change you into making you be something that you're not. They want to control how you look. Next thing, they want to control how your hair is, the way you talk, everything. Probably the job that you do, because they want to change you into something that you're not. They want to make you into a different person. I always say a relationship is not build a bear. You remember those bears back in the day where you used to have the bear and then you can make them have different jobs and put on different clothes and the way they talk, their voice. A person is not build a bear. You can't just say, I want you to have this and this and this and take this away and put on this. And no, it doesn't work that way. How you meet somebody is the way they are. And we have to learn to either like somebody the way they are or don't like it at all. So thank you everybody for participating in the poll. I'm about to end that poll. Let me see what it says right here. Hold on one second, guys. Let me close this poll. It says, my question was, have you been in a possessive relationship? In 9 votes, and 9 people said that they have been one. They have been in one. I'm so sorry to hear that. For those of you who have been in that sort of relationship where you have been in a possessive relationship, I hope that you are in a good space right now in your life. I really do. Anybody who has been, I hope you put into some healing into yourself, into your mind, your mindset, into that it wasn't your fault. Because a lot of times we will blame ourselves because we chose that person, but you got to take your power back. Yes. Yeah. I know, Nexie. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's why these topics are so important. It's not something to take lightly. I got one more point after this, and I'm going to put the link here in the chat for Miss Nexie. Okay. So, point number 9, a sign that you're dating or you're married to a possessive person, they discourage your independence. They discourage you from being happy. They don't want you to do anything on your own. Everything that you do, they want to be there everywhere you go, or every place you eat. They want to know every single detail of your life from the time you wake up to you go to bed. They have to be involved in everything, and that is not good. and they discourage your independence, because once you become independent, once you wake up mentally to know that this is toxic, this is not good, then they won't be able to control you. They will, and a lot of times, I don't know why, but we will take care of, we will be supportive of somebody who is not good for us. Basically, like mother them or father them. No, this is not your child. It's supposed to be somebody you're in a relationship with. It's not your job to, you know, take care of them like they're a little baby. They're supposed to be your good and healthy romantic relationship. But unfortunately, sometimes we will choose people that are not good for us, people who are unhealthy, and they will be harmful to our mental health. They'll be harmful to our spiritual health, um, our physical health, just like we won't be in a state of our overall well being. Like we'll just be in a funk. It will just be, everything will be off. And we have to know that we deserve better than that. You do. You deserve better. And I wish that somebody had told me, when I was younger and I was a teenager, you don't have to continue to date somebody just because you may like them. If somebody doesn't align with your goals, or somebody is toxic, or somebody doesn't, it doesn't gel well with your values, or, or they're disrespectful, or some reason you just know that this won't work, you don't have to stay with them. So whoever needs to hear that, to you too as well. Just because you are dating somebody, just because you're getting to know somebody, even if it's somebody you're married to, because sometimes the switch can change, and a person can just go from you knowing them this way, and then either the mask falls off or they just get weird. You don't have to stay with somebody who is making you feel uncomfortable, somebody who is making you feel disrespected, feel unimportant, feel devalued, put you down, discourage you, not support you. No, that's a toxic relationship, and you deserve better than that. If anybody, if you're with somebody and they discourage you from being independent, they want to do everything for you because they want you to only depend on them. They don't want you to have your own life, but never should you depend on one person for everything. That's not good. On off days, I should to you and drop everything around me, but schedules are totally different. I have a family life daily. You don't, too complicated during that period of my progress. Yeah, it's about progress, Miss Tracy. We have to want to do better, and everybody has their own life. Everybody has different things going on. Yeah, all of those things. Hey, Boss Life Online, how are you doing? Welcome in. So good to see you, Gio. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. I think it's so important for us to think about this and work on ourselves, and not be so dependent on either your man, or don't be so dependent on your woman, because you need to have your own life. You need to have your own friends. You need to have your own things going on. And when it is too much involved, in knowing every single thing, that's a recipe for disaster. That's a way to make you feel bad about yourself, because nobody should always have the same friends, the same everything. Everybody needs their own girlfriends or guy friends, so that they can blow off steam, so that they can just let their hair down and be themselves. You definitely deserve that, to all of you. Okay, now I'm on my 10th and the last point, everybody. No, I got one more after this. One more. I take it back. Signs that you're dating or married to a possessive person. Now, this is something that it irks me. Check your phone. They want to know what's going on in your phone, right? Who's that calling? Who are you talking to? What did they text you? How long have you known them? It's just so much questions. And if you are in a relationship and you feel that you have to check their phone or they have to check yours, that shows that there is no trust there. You shouldn't have to want to check somebody's phone. If you feel that way, then you need to leave them alone. That means you don't trust one another. Should definitely not get involved with that. And this is the 11th and the last point. Signs you're dating or married to a possessive person. They want to isolate you from your friends and your family. And that is very serious, very scary, because what they want to do is have you all to themselves so that they can do God knows what. I hate to paint it that way, but a lot of times that's how it is. They do all kinds of things. They do wrong things to you. They do wrong things to your family, and then your family starts staying away because of what they're doing. And then now it's just you and them, and that is not a good thing. Okay, so those are the points that I had. Let me go to add Miss Nexie. Let's welcome her to the chat. Hi, Nexie. How are you doing?
Hello, Marlene. Hello, Chad. Happy New Year to everybody. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for being here.
You know it. You know it. It's a good topic, and I like good topics.
Yes.
You know,
Um,
it's, I know you were talking about, the different forms of it, but a lot of people um, confuse, um, how can I put it, mental abuse and emotional abuse. They confuse the two a lot. And even though they can sound the same, they affect differently, and they do it for different, the abuser does it for different, to achieve a different outcome. And it's good that we have these topics so that people can understand, that they're not the same, they're different. They target different things, but the end achievement for these people is total control at the end, no matter what.
exactly. I feel that that's what it's all about. It's all about control. Like I started off this discussion in the beginning, that was one of the things that I wanted to state from the beginning, that that's what they want to do. Possessive person wants to treat you like your property, like they own you. It's not like a relationship. It's more like they bought you or something. They want,
Mm-hmm.
it's very warped.
It is. It is. And, again, a lot of times we don't even see that it's happening. We don't even feel that it's happening. We think that it's because they love us a lot, or because they worry about us, because they want to protect us, because they want to make sure that we're okay at all times. It's because they love us so much, right? That's the way that that they make us think. And again, this is why it's very good to talk about these things and to understand them. And that was one of the things that I wanted to get up here and kind of like talk about it with you, because we all go through it some way or another. It's funny because you don't even realize that you were in that type of relationship at one point until you're out of that relationship. You start seeing all of those little signs, of, oh my God, this person was this way. Oh my God, this person, was this other way. And I didn't even realize that that's what was happening. Some of us are lucky enough to get out of it, some of us are not. So we have to make sure that we continue to bring these topics to light, because everybody gets into relationships in one point or another, whether
Oh, your mic went out for a second, Nexie. No.
emotional abuse, discriminate. men or women, they both go through it.
Yeah, it's so important that we understand that it happens to women and it happens to men. And I will just say that I know a lot of times it's very uncomfortable for a man to admit that the same things are happening, whether they get into a person who is very aggressive with them, because it can happen on both sides. It can happen to anybody. Anybody can be manipulated, used, and controlled.
Exactly. And understanding the two forms is important. And this is what I wanted to say. I was reading the different forms of abuse, because, like I said, sometimes we confuse them both, and they're not the same, even though they, like I said, the ultimate goal is to have the possession of your entire self. But emotional abuse um, is to manipulate, to punish, and to achieve control. You know what I mean? A mental abuse is they want to influence the way you think. They want to influence the way you're focusing on things, and they want to warp like your sense of reality. And again, the ultimate goal is for that, for total control.
Yep.
Sometimes they're both, they go together. Some, abusers have used both,
Yeah.
but sometimes they just use the one, but the ultimate goal is the same, to make sure that they have all of you to themselves. And the funny thing is, you don't, how can I put it? Once you've been or are exposed to those things, you start seeing them on your friends, Marlene. You start seeing that they're going towards that, kind of relationship. And it's, I don't know, you want to just tell them what is going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Dawn.
Hey Don, how are you doing? Hey realist one.
Hey, realist.
Yeah, and one of the things is like when you see, because I can say that for myself. I've had friends, and I've seen them be in, a very controlling relationship, even some that were abusive. And you want to ask them, like, what are you doing? You're a wonderful person. You're a beautiful person. You're a handsome gentleman. Like, why would you feel that you deserve, this type of relationship? But sometimes you just get in so deep so fast that you can't even, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, you're already drowning before you even know it. It's like you're just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my goodness, like what am I involved in? And it's not one of those things that you can just get out, because if you've never been in an abusive relationship or something like that, they've controlled so many factors in your life that you can't do anything without them knowing. They've controlled everything, and you can't move to the left or the right. And because they've isolated you from friends and family, all you have is them,
Also,
or
Marlene,
you're
we got to
stuck.
go into this part of that we don't really like to go to. But if a child has been um, psychologically, emotionally abused by the parent and is used to this type of treatment, humiliation, being criticized constantly by the one or two of the parents, um, you know, uh, being emotionally abused as well, neglected. So if somebody has been brought up in that particular environment, it normalizes that behavior because it's what they know. So it stays because, hey, life has always been like this for me. So, this is normal. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with him. And they normalize it because that's how they were brought up.
Yeah, and the issue with that, Nexie, is that I can say for myself, growing up and being raised in that sort of toxic environment, it's like that's the sort of, because you're in the toxic environment, it's like I was drawn to only people who were toxic like me. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like it starts another cycle. It's like you leave one, you leave the frying pan, you leave from the boiling pot and jump into the
Into the
frying
frying
pan.
pan.
So it's like I don't know, like which one is better or worse, but that's one of the reasons why it's important before you start getting into a relationship, you start doing some things to work on yourself. Like, why do I think certain things should be a certain way? I had to go back in my own mind and to say, that's not a very healthy thought. Like, you shouldn't be saying things like that because you bring it into your relationship, because you can't expect a person once you find somebody, because that was my issue that I had. I thought when I found love it would fix everything about me. I thought it would fix all the pain, all of the hurt, like that. Like a one person would be my cure all. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
looking for the relationship to be my savior, and I was giving my relationship a place that only God was supposed to have in my life.
Mm.
So it was very off balance, and of course the relationship is not going to work, because if you're not in a good and healthy space with yourself, you can't be in a good and healthy space with whoever you meet, because confusion is going to be confusion whether you're by yourself or with somebody. So you got to work
Mm-hmm.
on yourself first.
Yeah, you literally, it's like when you want someone to be your everything, right? In a relationship, and the cure all, like you said, is like trying to place just a small band aid on a large surgery.
Mhm.
That's not gonna cut it. It's gonna open one way or another, so you have to use the right tools for it. And that's the thing, that a lot of times we expect the person that we're going into a serious relationship to be that cure, to be that everything for us. And that's where the mistake is.
Mhm.
Because before somebody else can be your friend, you need to be your own best friend, your own good friend. You need to feel comfortable on your skin, comfortable to be you, so that that person that you're in a relationship with can see that part of you. But when you're broken and when you're toxic and when you're not in the right, like you said, the right space of mind, you're bringing more baggage into that relationship. So working on a relationship when you're broken doesn't fix it, it breaks it.
Yep. Yep, and that's so true. The statement that Dawn says, "I was used to being to seeing belittled, cursed out, and unloved, so I was accepting poor behavior," and that's one of the
Exactly.
things that I had to say to myself too. If you don't go back and fix that, I had to go back, and it's like I had to undo everything that I had learned from my whole childhood, like just
Mm-hmm.
because just because mom or dad or my brothers or sisters or whoever in my life, that's how they had the relationship. I had to learn to define what was healthy for me.
Mm-hmm.
That was, for me, that was pitiful and monumental to me being in a healthy relationship, because until I knew who I was, until I knew, like, okay, like, don't raise your voice at me, because I remember, because it would trigger me back to my childhood when somebody else raised their voice. But I was accepting that because that's all I knew. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
say, I will not allow anybody, don't raise your voice at me. I don't allow that. Don't do that to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of those things that we sometimes, it's very funny because we'll be drawn to people who are exactly what we don't want. You don't want them, but you're drawn to that because you haven't fixed it inside of
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Yeah, you're reflecting, on the other person. It's like, and the thing is, and this is why I always tell people, you have to be careful, how you treat your children. You have to be careful how you talk to your children.
Uh-oh. Your mic went out, Nixie. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you could hit the like, I think her mic will come back.
They call him names, psychological humiliations on the children. The problem is that, this child is going to grow up. And like Dawn says, that's what you start accepting because, again, you're normalizing. That's how you were brought up. So it's normal. It's okay. No big deal. Even if your friends tell you, hey, that's not the way he's supposed to be treating you, or she's supposed to be treating you. That's not right. For you, it's normal because that's how you were brought up. A healthy child should be able to let you know when you hurt him, should be able to speak up, should be able to have a voice, should not be made fun of, should tell you you're hurting my feelings when you do this and this and that. But a lot of times in the ways that we grow up, we're not allowed a voice. So when we grow up, we don't have one. And that's why people and partners can step all over us.
Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad you said that because it was you who gave me that enlightenment that it's okay to speak up as an adult and to say the things that you want. For when you're a child, you're always kind of stepped onto, like, be quiet, you're silenced, or, like, you stay in a child's place. But until when you become an adult, that doesn't go away. You still feel like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say anything because you were always told to never open up your mouth and speak up for the things that you want, and you will take that into the relationship and keep taking toxic, destructive, abusive behavior and treatment, and you don't deserve that.
And thank you for saying that, Marlene. And I'm glad I've helped you at least a little. And when I say, children should have a voice and everything, I don't mean children should be disrespectful. You know what I mean? Treat them like you want to be treated. Allow them to talk to you the way that, you would you talk to them. When kids are growing up, I notice that parents make the mistake of thinking that, oh, they're little. They don't understand. They're little. They don't even know what's going on. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Coming from a large family, Marlene, like you and I came from, our voice were hardly heard because everybody else was talking before us. By the time we came to the point of talking, they were already tired of the other kids. So they would just shush us. Oh, just sit down. Or say kids are supposed to be seen but not heard. Right? So
Yeah.
I had to learn, Marlene, through therapy and all of that to get my voice back,
Yep.
to be able to speak my mind without being disrespectful. Because when you're so hurt and you find your voice, you just want to yell at everybody
Yeah.
and call them all kinds of names that you thought about it when you were little, but you couldn't say it because you will get the soap in your mouth.
Yep.
So you
Or,
have to
or or a
learn.
slap on your tush.
Oh, well, it wasn't the touche where sometimes I guess, but that's not the point.
I know, but I'm keeping it rated YouTube.
Yeah. I just felt my lips getting like really, big. I was, oh, when did I get him injected? It was my sister's hand. Bah, don't say that. But it's very important, for you to, when you find your voice, to find the right words. And again, it's per person, Marlene. It's not a general speech that you're gonna have to make. It's depending on how everybody that you want to keep in your life is, how they act, how they react. That's how you're gonna talk to them
Mhm.
in a way that they can get the point across that I'm not the same little Marlene as before. I'm a grown up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you're going to respect me. You're going to talk to me a certain way. It's the same way I'm going to treat you. If you disrespect me, then I'm going to do that and you're not going to like it. So you have to find the right way of talking to everybody and understand this, that you want to keep in your life. The ones that you don't want to keep in your life, you
Yeah.
feel free.
Do whatever.
Go to town with them. Go to town with them, Marlene. Those are the ones that pay the price for all the words I couldn't say when I was little.
Yeah. But you know, one of the things that the space that I am in at right now, I'm in a really good space in my life where I feel that I can speak up and I can say what I want to say, and I don't feel guilty anymore. That used to be my
Mm-hmm.
issue all the time. If I wanted to express or say something, I always felt like I'm not going to say it because then they'll be mad at me or they'll be disappointed or I'll hurt their feelings or whatever it is. So then I would just always be silent. But then the issues in the relationship just pile up until next thing you're like, I don't even want to be in this relationship anymore because you've allowed that person to get away with so much
Mm-hmm.
that it's like, how do I even start? Like, yeah, I was like, no, this can't be saved. No, we're done.
Yeah, and you know, I remember one of my therapists said that that is because someone is being told all of their life that they are the problem, that they are the troublemakers, that they're always the dramatic ones, that they're always trying to voice something about, you know, their feelings, or they're always like making trouble pretty much. So you allow them to get away with a lot because you don't want to hear those words again. But now you have worked on yourself. You have grown as a person. You have matured. And you understand that voicing your feelings is a natural thing to do. That they should have never blamed you for being dramatic or for trying to tell them how you felt. So now you understand that, and you no longer are going to allow the disrespect. Sometimes in order for you to get a peace of mind, there's a lot of people that gots to go.
Yep.
They
You
just
know,
gots to go.
That's so true, Nexi, and a very good point. I have to say that a lot of times we have been so used to being controlled, manipulated, and used that we can't even see a good relationship when it's right in front of us because we're so busy being drawn to the negativity, the using, the whatever that we've been had our whole life that when somebody actually is nice, we think, oh, what's wrong with them?
Mm-hmm. Why are you being nice? What do you
Why are
want?
you being nice? Like, okay, watch this one.
What you want? Yeah, and that is, we revert to that sometimes because you know, our fears, our insecurities. When you go through therapy, it doesn't mean it's going to cure everything. You're still a work in progress for the rest of your life. You know, it's not something, it's not a cure all. If you go to a therapy session, you know what I mean? You have to work on all those insecurities and allow the other, and even if that person you say is too nice, you have that fear, still give them the chance. If it doesn't work out, you already know how to work on yourself to get back to that good place. So
Exactly.
good riddance.
Yep. And I have to say this that we all have to stop settling. That I feel that's a very important key point to this discussion. A lot of times we settle because of loneliness, because of we just want to be with somebody because we're tired of our family or friends hackling us. When are you going to meet somebody? When are you going to be with somebody?
Mm.
When are you going to get? And then you just choose somebody, but it's not about choosing somebody. It's about a person that you will want to be with, a person that is in line with the focus for your life.
Hmm.
Mm,
Someone that compliments you
right.
in your life path. A lot of times people make the mistake of saying, I want this person to be in the same path, want the same things, and do the same things and have the same goals. No, you don't want that because we all have different paths and different goals and everything. What you want is someone that complements you in a way that when you want to achieve those goals, even if the person doesn't want the same thing, they will support you
Yeah.
and they will cheer you on so that you can achieve them. You
Yeah.
don't want a clone of you.
Mm-mm.
You
You
want
really don't.
someone, like I said, that complements, not someone that you complete me. I'm doing the hard thing. You don't want that. You complete me. Yeah, like the movie. Um, you don't want someone that has to complete you. That
Mm-mm.
is insane.
Yeah, you're supposed to be complete on your own. I learned that in therapy. I used to be that toxic thinking. I always used to say, I'm looking for the other half of my heart.
That
Yeah,
that freaks me out. As a medical
yeah.
student, I got to think about you're functioning with just half of it. What happened to your heart? Because I
But
see
that's
the
how, but
the
that's
organ.
how I used to, but that's how I used to feel because that's just the way that I was raised. Everybody around me
Yeah,
always said when I got married, my heart was complete, my life is complete. No, you need to be complete first and then
yeah.
find you somebody who will, compliment you and
Compliment you. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, I found my other half. And you're like, so you were surviving with just half of your body? Wow, that's a scientific wonder. I'm thinking, like, how did you walk with just one leg, and how did you live with just one arm? What happened to the other side of your heart? So I'm looking at the whole apparatus, and I'm thinking, this is a scientific wonder. I need to check this person out. Like, so you guys are
Exactly.
now two halves that walk together. That's really weird. But it's how we were brought up, right? It's how
Yes.
we were taught. As when this person came into my life, everything became rosy and peachy, and it was what is that saying? A bed of roses
Yeah.
every night. They don't tell you about the thorns
Yeah.
in between the roses.
Yes, that. But the whole thing about it, Nexie, is um, I feel a lot of times that people will go into relationships and they will have unrealistic expectations, and
Yes.
I think that that's the biggest issue. It's like, but nobody is talking about the elephant in the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
The elephant in the room, like, okay, you both are going to this relationship, you both, maybe you say your ultimate goal is wanting to be married, but what is your goal in marriage? What is your
Mm-hmm.
goal of your relationship? What do you want out of the relationship? And a lot of times people will be in relationship for years and they will never have this conversation. What do you want from this relationship? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why are you here? What do you see in me?
Mm-hmm.
Those are important questions to ask while dating somebody before it escalates to marriage, because people will want to go and get counseling after they get married when the counseling needs to happen while you're dating so that you don't waste your time
Mm,
in the relationship moving forward.
exactly. And I'm about to step on some toes here. And
Oh,
Marlene,
okay. Let me get
please
my steel toe boots. I'll be right back.
put him on. Put him on. Put him on. You really went to get your steel toe boots. Um, for me is I know that a lot of people watch dramas or romantic movies growing up, and I sometimes have been sitting with someone that is watching romantic movies and stuff like that, and um, the messages that sometimes are put on those movies are what you call unrealistic messages, right? Because the happily ever after, with the drama that unfolds before the happily ever after, it's unrealistic. I have one thing that it's always been like, I don't know, a pet peeve of mine, or maybe something that I really don't understand. If you know that you're married to a police officer, a detective, a doctor, or whatever, and going into that relationship that these people have a lot of time out of the house,
Mhm.
why is it that you're complaining that the relationship is breaking up because you don't spend time with me? Isn't that,
You
didn't you
see,
know going in and dating this person that that's exactly what it is, that this person has their career? So these movies represent this unrealistic
Mhm.
things that the wedding is going to fix everything up, you know, and the happily ever after. And I'm thinking, okay, so when you get busy again, are you guys going to get divorced after the wedding, or what's going to happen? So a lot of people watch these movies and get those expectations. But the reality of thing, and I would love for a movie to say, hey, you knew going in that I was this. Why are you complaining about it now? That's what I want a movie to say.
That's like real life. And I
Thank
have to
you.
I have to say that, Nexi, that a lot of times, because we watch things on, the entertainment world, movies and all type of things, but also, the fantasy world of our mind,
Mm-hmm.
how we picture our relationship's going to be like this, and we'll never fight, and we're going to have a perfect relationship, and our children will be respectful, it's going to be beautiful, we'll never argue, and everything. If you go into a relationship and having that sort of expectation, that's unrealistic, that's not normal, it will
Mm-hmm.
never happen. In real life, there's going to be arguments, there's going to be disagreements, but it shouldn't be all the time. But it should be a healthy relationship where you should be able to communicate, this is what's going on with me, and then it's not to where you say something and you're not put down, or
Mm-hmm.
put down, shut down, disrespected, you're not getting any of that. But it's like, okay, you think that way, and you can have a healthy conversation, but it's not the where you feel shame from
Mm-hmm.
speaking up for yourself.
Exactly. You shouldn't be shamed. And you shouldn't be in a relationship where every time you guys have a conversation about your likes and dislikes, you end up fighting, calling each other's names, putting each other down, breaking up, getting back together. That's unhealthy as well. You know what I mean? You can do in a relationship. You should be able to have your time, his time, my me time, in his time, and then the together time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Don't
See, next
oversaturate this person with love. That's unhealthy.
See, Nexi, and that is what I'm talking about. That is real life. It's he has his life, you have your life, and then it's the life that you have together. And that's where people don't balance it. Yes, you both may have to work, you both have responsibilities and all kinds of things, but it's about planning that time for your relationship to stay together. And a lot of people put in so much work to get somebody, but they don't put in any work to stay together.
Mm-hmm. Gio, I love you.
Yep. Yeah, I was gonna highlight this.
That'll be me.
When I watch a movie, I be saying, "Child, please, that don't happen in real life. Get a grip."
That's me, Gio. I'm like, are you serious? Are you like you're gonna marry her even though she doesn't approve of your job?
Mhm. Or the ones that you see that they just sit around all day drinking coffee. I was like, that's not real. I was like, when they go to work, I was like, how they live in that big old mansion? uh, that's what I'm talking about. Unrealistic. Um, yeah, I want us to work together towards a higher income so we can travel the world. I want us to communicate, and if you don't know what you want, you cannot tell me. Move on. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's realistic, and I think that the biggest issue of talking about dating is that you have to have two people who are mature, and that's usually not the case. It's usually one person is mature and the other one isn't, or you have two people and they're both immature. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to say that for myself too. That was me in a relationship. I didn't know who I was, but I'm at a place in my life where I am transparent enough to say that about myself. Until you get to know yourself, know who you are, what you want, know how to be your own friend, you can never be good to anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You
Self love is the most important thing you can have going into a relationship with somebody else. Because in self respect, because those are going to be the two ingredients that are going to make the relationship better and work. Because you're going to know what you like, what you don't like. You're not going to allow people to disrespect you. You're not going to allow people to overstep or, a boundary or something. And that's another thing. Boundaries. We have
Yes.
to have them with relationships and with the
Uh-oh, your mic went out, Nexie. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you have
arts
not already,
boundaries in
drop a
place.
like.
That's a form of showing me respect as well. If you're respecting my boundaries, and I'll respect yours. If you allocate a time to read a book, that person shouldn't be disrespecting you by talking to you, by texting you, by calling you, by knocking on that door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is my 30 minutes of me time. That's something that's a boundary. I need this 30 minutes. You shouldn't, you know,
Yeah.
disrespect that. You have to have those because we're two individuals trying to cohabitate in one place together. So we have to have certain rules and regulations in place.
And
And go ahead, Marlene.
I was just going to say, and I think that that's the issue a lot of times, Nexie, is because people go into relationships and there is no conversation. Like even saying things like, um, the before I go to bed at night, I like to read, so I would appreciate it if it would be quiet, just for 30 minutes before bed. Then that person would know. But the issue is you're getting ready to read the book, and then they turn on the music or a movie or something, and then you get upset. So it's
Mm,
those things that you can't. I was working with my therapist on this, and I used to get so upset about things, but I was like, but they should know me, they've known me all this time, they see what I do. And I said, but did you tell them?
mm-hmm.
Did you have the conversation? No. So until you have conversations, you let people know, that's a whole nother thing. It's a different thing if you tell them and then they don't respect the boundary. That's a whole different.
Exactly. It's totally different. And that's the thing is, or when, you have, like you said, those 30 minutes, after dinner, I read for an hour after dinner. I like doing that. I've gotten my children used to that as well. And this person is, are you done yet? Aren't you going to come to watch the movie? Aren't you going to, it's like, I already told you this is what I do. You've for a long time this is what we do, so why are you asking me if I'm done yet or if I'm coming? It's like, dude, no. And you have to have that talk over and over sometimes for that person to get it, right? Because maybe at times you have broken the rule and say, okay, fine, I'm done, and put the book away. So you give mixed signals. So you have to make sure that they're in place and that you keep them in place so that they can respect them.
Yep, it's called making your yes yes and your no no.
Exactly, Marlene. And I think this is a good time for us to end
Head
this.
to the after show. After show.
We've been on for an hour and 30 minutes.
Yes, we
We gotta
have.
go.
Yes, ma'am. I'm glad somebody's looking out because I could keep talking for another half an hour. Okay. So
Thank you for having me, Marlene.
thank you,
And
Miss
Chad, thank you for
Lexi.
coming over and supporting Marlene. And we'll see you guys on the after show.
Yes, I'll see you guys on the after show. Thank you so much. And I have to say before we end, if you feel very uncomfortable, unsafe, unloved, disrespected in your relationship, you deserve to move on. You deserve to have somebody who appreciates you, that respects your boundaries, that you feel comfortable with, that you can grow with. And if not, it's time for you to cut ties and find yourself somebody else because you deserve that. So thank you so much for watching. And like I always say over here on Marlene Motivates, just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life. If you are new to this channel, subscribe and leave me a comment in the comment section below. And thank you to Miss Nexie.
You're welcome, Marlene.
Yes, I'll see you
Bye.
guys. Thank you guys for joining today. I'll see you guys, all you members, at the after show. Bye bye.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Forgive me, I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? I forgive me, I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? Ooh, yeah.